Please come, Uma.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Uma, please tell us about yourself to the panel.
Sir, my name is Uma Harati. I am a native of Nalgonda district in Telangana state. I graduated with a BTech in Civil Engineering in 2017 from IIT Hyderabad. Ever since, I have been preparing on a full time for UPSC civil services exam. I briefly worked for a period of 6 months at a civil services coaching institute called Civil Daily, sir.
That was in Hyderabad only?
Sir, it was an online
Was that online?
role.
During COVID?
Yes, sir. It was.
Okay. So, Uma, you are from Telangana. Telangana, incidentally, is one of the richest states.
Yes.
And after bifurcation, it has your per capita income and the rate of. So, tell us all about economy, why Telangana has become so rich.
Yes, sir. Sir, before the formation of state, the region was in development deficit, but post bifurcation, the GDP and per capita have doubled. The agriculture, which was once growing at a negative rate, is today growing at a double-digit positive rate. Sir, I would say this is mainly because the government focused on attracting investments, particularly to the region of Hyderabad and districts around. So there are several initiatives such as ease of doing business through time-based clearances to the projects and providing plug-and-play facilities for industries. And whatever the surplus that government was generating from economic growth, it started investing in developmental programs. For instance, Raitu Bandhu is a scheme in agriculture which provides investment support to the farmers. Is an initiative of the government, which also inspired PM Kisan scheme at the national level.
So, why services sector, incidentally, Telangana is very high against the Indian average. It is more than 60%, as much as any Western country. So, is that the reason for good growth?
Yes, sir. The growth of the state is led by service sector, which is contributing to nearly 61% of the GSDP. Sir, and within the service, it's the IT sector which is leading the service sector from the front. Sir, since 2000s, Hyderabad has become a hub of IT industry. As a result, it continues to attract more and more investments in the region.
So, Uma, you see digital news also on your mobile?
Sir, sometimes, sir.
Today, did you see?
Yes, sir. I am following the newspapers.
Can you recall what is Operation Dost?
Sir, I am not able to
Okay,
recall.
it was in today's digital news, so I am asking you.
Could I make an educated guess, sir?
Make a guess.
Sir, it could be this rescue operations, the support India is giving to the Syria and Turkey, which are.
So it is basically that only. And so tell me, why is India helping Turkey, Afghanistan, Taliban government? Turkey always spoke against us. Taliban doesn't have diplomatic relations. And we are not sending any missives to the Pak government that we can also help you in their economic crisis. What do you think? Should India help Pakistan?
Sir, Pakistan is our neighboring state which is going through economic crisis, and the economic crisis in Pakistan is not good for the entire region, sir. It could become a safe haven, further safe haven for terrorists or radicalization. It could result in refugee problem for the country. So, keeping all this in consideration, yes, I think India should help Pakistan in whatever way possible. We could utilize regional platforms such as SAARC. Or BRICS to provide the support. I think this should be done.
Okay, Uma, you are a civil engineer. So, can we predict earthquakes?
Sir, it is difficult to exactly and accurately predict earthquakes, sir, but we can utilize the existing satellite technology to monitor the movement of plates. This can give a slight information, but exactly predicting it is still not possible, sir.
Okay, Uma, I have to build a 5-story house, and you are my architect and engineer. So, how would you ensure that my house is earthquake resistant? Just broad things.
Sir, there are several civil engineering techniques that can be utilized in the construction. For example, construction of shear walls. So, generally the walls that we have are not load bearing, but if we make them load bearing, they will be able to resist lateral loads. Earthquake loads are lateral loads. And we also have indigenous techniques like sandbox technique, which is used in Kakatiya temples in Telangana. So it creates, when we create a pit for laying foundation, we fill the pit with some materials such as sand and lime. These materials will absorb some of the energy generated by the earthquake and reduce the shaking of the structures.
Good. So, Uma, you have a passion for cooking,
Yes.
right? Now, it is said that the fuel that you use to fire your, cooking is as important as the ingredients that you put in the dish. If you make by charcoal, it's different. If you make on gas, it is different. You think it really matters?
Sir, to some extent, food made on chulha does give a slight charcoal flavor to the food, sir, but I wouldn't consider it a major difference either in the flavor or texture. So, food made on using any type of fuel, I think is more or less the same, sir.
In Rajasthan, they bury the food inside the soil and put some charcoal and coal. Does it make any difference? You know how to, many ways of cooking you have mentioned, so you would be the best person to guide. It doesn't make any difference?
Sir, it does make some difference with respect to the flavor, and it is also about the tradition or the practice of cooking in a particular region. The household must be associating with that as a part of their culture. So, these aspects would be different.
Thank you, Uma. I pass on to the member.
Thank you, sir.
So, Uma, you stayed in Japan for some time?
Yes, sir.
How long?
Sir, it was a cultural exchange program for a period of 15 days, sir.
15 days. When you stayed there, what were the things you noticed which you can emulate or bring it here in our working?
Sir, the first thing that I noticed was their pride in their own culture, sir. For example, if we take language, everything there is in Japanese, sir. Even education in higher universities, and even the social media platforms are in Japanese. They do not consider speaking in Japanese as inferior to English. I think this has really helped them improve their educational outcomes. So this is one thing that struck me immediately, sir. And secondly, their work ethics, sir. Wherever we go, right from school to university to industries that we visited, we kept hearing this word called Kaizen, which means performing above excellence, above 100%, and improving oneself continuously. I think this is very culturally rooted in the Japanese. This is something we can emulate in our country as well, sir.
They work overtime too much.
Sir, some of my friends who are working in Japan, they often mention this, that Japanese employees stay back voluntarily after work hours to finish any work. So it is, and
I saw they play some table tennis and all, and after that once again start working.
Yes, sir, they do.
How the family life will be there? If I found they work up to 8:30 p.m. Early morning again they come up. Before I get ready, they are there. So family life must be disturbed.
So there are two aspects to this, sir. One is they promote a culture of corporate families, sir. Their employees are actively encouraged to form close bonds with their co-workers. So they gain that satisfaction from work also. And secondly, in most of the cases, both the couple are working, so they generally tend to work for same durations. And they also have good daycare facilities for the families. So these must have helped.
Okay. Why should we study anthropology as a subject, not as a optional, as a subject? What's the need of studying anthropology?
Sir, anthropology is a holistic study of humankind across time and space. So we have several branches of sciences which study different aspects of human existence, be it economics, politics, etc. And anthropology is one such subject. I feel it synthesizes all these trends and helps us study humans in a holistic way. How we have evolved over time, how our biological evolution is connected to cultural evolution, and what makes us human, and what makes us different from rest of the members of the animal kingdom. These aspects.
So it's not part of history.
Sir, anthropology has a strong historical element as well through archaeological anthropology, sir. So it is also history, sir, historical.
Suppose in Rakhigadi, there is a location nearby. They are discovering old skeletons and other things. Do you think it will be helpful to anthropology or it will be helpful to history? Some skeletons and other things are being discovered. Some tools.
Sir, I think it is helpful to both anthropology and history. For anthropology, it helps fill certain gaps in evolution, cultural and biological evolution of humans. And for history, it is helpful to accurately pinpoint when what happened.
Okay. Can you remember how Chenab Bridge has come up? The photograph of Chenab Bridge recently come up few years back or 1 year, 2 years back.
Sir, could I take a moment?
Sure.
Sir, Chenab Bridge is a steel arch bridge. It is considered, if I'm not wrong, the highest arch steel bridge in the world. So
I have two questions on it.
Yes.
One is, why not make it a cable stayed bridge? Or why not make it a cantilever bridge?
Sir, constructing a cantilever bridge, it would experience a very high amount of bending moment when the span is so long. So that would require, if the bending moment is very high, it means we have to use the depth of the cross section should be very high, which means more material and more cost. And coming to cable stayed bridge, sir, I believe the cost of the construction would be higher in case of a cable stayed bridge, and also given the altitude, it could also face significant lateral loads from wind, resulting in more sway of the bridge. So keeping these two in mind, I feel the decision was taken.
Okay, study about it. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Uma, I heard about Japan. So in Genesis 2016, anything else you learned about Japan besides 2 points that you mentioned? So what was Genesis? Were you staying with the families?
Sir, we also had a family stay for 2 to 3 days as a part of the program. So we got the experience to stay with the rural Japanese family and experience their culture from very close. So we learned how to make sushi, and they learned. I got the opportunity to show them some of Indian cuisines. Like I taught them dal. We also shared. They were very interested to know about yoga, particularly Surya Namaskars. So I got the opportunity to share that as well, sir.
Uma, let's talk about reverse engineering. What is reverse engineering?
Sir, if we have a final product or technology, let's say a smartphone, so we can try to figure out how this was made by opening it and by understanding what each component does. So in a way, so that we can come up with our own smartphone. Sir, I believe this is a reverse engineering technique.
One of the dispute between USA and China is on stealing of technology through reverse engineering.
Yes, sir. In several instances, USA accused China of stealing technology through reverse engineering by not strictly adhering to the patents within the country, and probably encouraging the engineers there to figure out things by reverse engineering.
You are posted in a district where migrant laborers are there. How will you improve the condition of migrant laborers in your?
Sir, the first thing I would try to do is document and find out how many migrant laborers are there, where are they, and are they registered under any of the government schemes or government identification aspects already in existence. And thereafter, I would try to know what are the main problems that they are facing. In one city, it could be, in one district, it could be housing. In another district, it could be basic food that is not available. So depending on whatever problems they are facing, I would try to ensure through existing schemes, sir.
All right. This budget, finance minister talked of Nari Shakti, that is inclusive budget for. So can you name some schemes whereby inclusion for women is?
Uh, Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall exactly, but I remember there was a provision for small saving schemes with respect to women to promote more of small savings among women, sir. But I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
Okay, okay. Uh, what is NDMA? And do you think NDMA, in case of earthquake disaster, how will you approach NDMA? What all will be methodology to handle earthquake in a district where you are posted? What is NDMA and earthquake?
Sir, NDMA is a National Disaster Management Authority in the country. It is a central level body which oversees the policy framework with respect to disaster. It also gives guidelines that should be followed uh, as an overall part of disaster preparedness for several disasters. And in a district, if there is an earthquake, and I would focus on implementing the guidelines of NDMA. Immediately, I would reach to the site and try to know the extent of damage and assure the victims there of immediate relief and rescue. And I would also alert all the departments to gather work manpower for relief and rescue operations, including medical teams, disaster response forces, and even volunteers. Everybody that could come and help in the rescue operations.
Thank you, sir. Uma, your hobby, one of the hobbies is exploring why and how of Indian cuisine.
Yes.
Chairperson has already discussed this thing. Now, let us go beyond India. Now, there is an opportunity for you to explore why and how of G20 food cuisine. Are you aware?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it.
Delhi is going to have this G20 food festival starting from 11th. Anyway. Now, during G20, one of the important highlights which India would like to showcase would be women-led development in the country. So, can you identify a few areas where we can see women-led development?
Sir, we have a very vibrant SHG network in the country, which is tapping into the entrepreneurship potential of women, sir. So since we are having a food festival, we could have SHGs which are already working in the food area to present their cuisine. And we can also showcase, we also have examples of women entrepreneurs in the country. We have Falguni Nair, Kiran Majumdar Shah, who are heading major organizations. And we also have sports persons such as PV Sindhu.
Now, NGOs. What, in your opinion, is the role of NGOs in governance, and which are the areas where you would make use of NGO presence in your district as district collector?
So, could I take a moment? Sir, NGOs in governance, they can play a multifaceted role. There are some aspects which make NGOs very useful in governance, sir. Their grassroots presence, their understanding of what is happening at the grassroots level. People's trust in NGOs, particularly local NGOs. So, if I were to utilize NGOs, I would focus on last mile delivery, sir. In many schemes, many people are left out. So there are NGOs that are fighting to ensure inclusion of people in the schemes. So I would take their help to ensure that exclusion errors are reduced.
Now, ease of living and ease of doing business, which is more important for you? Ease of living and ease of doing business. And what would you promote as district collector? What will be your priority? I mean, of course, you have to work on, but what will be your priority? Ease of living or ease of doing business?
Sir, I would focus on ease of living, sir, because ease of doing business is mainly focuses on making business environment friendly for the corporates and for the other MSMEs, etc. Ease of living, on the other hand, also focuses on ensuring basic infrastructure and basic amenities, drinking water, roads, etc.
But tell me 5 schemes of Government of India which has really made a good impact on our ease of living of rural people.
Sir, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana,
Ujjwala
which is
one. Tell me
yes,
3 or more.
And sir, rural roads scheme, sir, and we have
Rural road is name for the rural road scheme. Are you aware?
sir, Sadak Yojana, sir, Pradhan Mantri
Okay, right.
Sadak Yojana, and we have Manrega, sir, which also improving incomes, and sir, now we have Jal Jeevan Mission, which is about providing basic drinking water.
Last one. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to know why you are so keen to join civil services.
Sir, through my own experiences and inclinations, I have realized that I like work where that gives me opportunity to coordinate with people from diverse backgrounds and work towards a collective vision and collective goals. I find this mode of work interesting and a great opportunity for self-growth and learning. So I think civil services as a platform provides me that and also help me create an impact on the society. So that is why I decided to go for civil services, sir.
Name a few tribal leaders. Secondly, which leader you admire the most and why?
Sir, Alluri Sita Ramaraju from Andhra Pradesh district, sir. He was leading the tribal resistance against British rule, So the reason I admired him the most is not only did he mobilize the local tribals to resist the tribal British rule, but he also helped integrate the movement into the national movement to some extent. So it did not. So the movement led by Alluri Ramaraju did not remain isolated from the national movement. It was not an isolated small tribal resistance.
Okay, can you name other tribal leaders?
Sir, from Telangana region, we have Kumaran Beam, Ramji Gond, who are both Gond tribal leaders who have led resistance against Nizam rule, sir.
Okay. What do you mean by Mission Karam Yogi?
Sir, the mission is about capacity building of the civil servants so that they can do their duty better. So it is about enhancement of different skills and knowledge base of the civil servants is my idea about the schemes.
Can you tell about the parameters of good governance?
Sir, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, following the rule of law, and these are some of the.
And how is Telangana performing?
Sir, I'm not aware of.
Okay, no issues. Thank you, Ma. I pass on to Chairman, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, Uma, we have covered a lot of areas of your DAF. Anything you think has been missed out by us and we haven't asked any question? So, you could pick up a topic and I'll ask the last question.
No,
If
sir.
there's nothing, then you can pass.
Yes.
So, thank you, Uma.
Thank you, sir.
We have finished the interview. You can just go to the. Come, Uma, please come. So, Uma, before we give our comments, we'd like to hear you. How did you, what do you think about your performance today?
Sir, I think I could have done better, sir.
So, your benchmarks are very high, very good. Okay. So, what is the thing that is disturbing you? I wish I had done this.
Sir, I thought that I should give more of examples and my personal life experiences while answering questions.
No, I would not suggest that.
The disasters.
Never do that. Then number 2.
Sir, I wanted to maintain eye contact with all of the boards, sir, that I couldn't.
That was good. That is a very trivial thing. So, Uma, let me react to the first point that you mentioned. Because you were so crisp in your answers, because your strength lay in being very concise, being to the point, there is no scope, even otherwise. There should not be any scope for explaining things. Unless there is a question, a supplementary question from the panel who may ask, no, Uma, can you explain this? I haven't understood this point. Can you elaborate it? Then you take that opportunity. On your own, you should not. You gave one example, but that was a very short example. Even that was, I was finding, not required. What was that? I'm just forgetting. A question mein, you had said that, for example, I had a friend in Japan. So, the honorable member asked you, you stayed for 15 days. So, why do you have to mention that friend has said this, so I am telling you? Got it? Your own opinion should have been given. So, that is one example I am telling you, that if you take an example, you make mistakes. Yes. And you become longish. We have been advising the candidates not to be longish and not to give examples. Even the answer to your civil services was devoid of any such example or personal thing. And that is why we consider it as a textbook reply. There are candidates who say, sir, our childhood dream, my parents, my grandfather, one IAS officer came to my district, all these things. So avoid that, okay? So, Uma, you were excellent. Your performance was very, very good, and we are very impressed with your performance on all fronts. Just one front you need to address. You speak very low. Do you find this acceptable to you?
No, sir. I am trying these days to be more
No,
loud.
but you knew that you are.
Yes, sir.
Somebody else has also said this.
Yes, sir.
So how would you improve this?
Sir, I am trying to consciously speak loudly, even in normal settings, sir.
So now you have spoken very well. So now whatever we speak, you will speak in a little higher pitch, right? Let the practice start from now. Okay. So everything was good. You had the confidence. The quality of your answers was very good. You thought over it and you spoke. You were not in a hurry. The question ends and you simply, even if you knew the answer, you thought over it, framed your answer, made it very point-wise, and made it very, I would say, in a structured manner. Right? That is also your strength. Everything else, conversation, this, that, except for the low pitch. Everything is fine.
Yeah. So, Uma, you have done very well. Let me recapitulate your qualities so that you don't miss them while time is still on. Your dates have not yet come. So, soft spoken, pleasant personality, well balanced, crisp, and to the point answers. This is to your strength. On the weakness, I will still say that you have to read in depth. Any topic which you agree to answer, there you must be able to go in deep, because to give you marks beyond 200, they will drill you down to the third or fourth level of questioning. Whereas we could not go much in depth. So be ready for that, whether it is all the types of bridges and their illustrations in India, or even roads, same way. Types of roads and material used for roads. New type of material is being used in the roads these days. And from anthropology, there is a concept of pure race, which has been negated. So read on that. Will do. Okay? Carry on. Thank you.
Nothing to add. Your personality is very good. Your replies on all the questions were like copybook. So I don't have to repeat anything. Budget, read up on the budget. And that's it. There was no other issue. Migrant labor also you handled excellently well. Wish you all the best.
Well, Uma, you visualize yourself as the district magistrate, and you are chairing a meeting of district officials, all district officials. So what kind of voice you will have at that time? So that voice you should have during that half an hour in the UPSC. And I'm sure you will be among the first, maybe first 50 or 100 in terms of interview marks. Only you have to raise your voice, because that also brings down your overall, this, what do you call, appearance. You look less confident, you look nervous,
Yes,
which
sir.
you are not at all.
Okay, sir.
But only because of your low voice,
Yes, sir.
one may get this impression. So the best way is that visualize yourself that you are chairing a meeting of district as first posting in district magistrate, and you are addressing with that confidence in your voice, with that pitch, with that articulation. Okay, with that not authority, of course you can't be that authoritative here, but particularly in the pitch part and articulation part. So all the best.
Uma, any questions from your side? So, what you do for improving the pitch, if you are convinced, do your exercise yourself, take a video, read out a paragraph, right? Take a page from anywhere, newspaper, read out a para in your normal way, the way you are reading, you are speaking. Then on your own, you try to go to the next level, right? And read the same prose again and take videos of second also. And third, you can have yet another model, if not, then only two models. And then you show it to someone whom you trust and see it yourself and watch it yourself. And if you find that, yes, this looks more effective, so adopt that model which is the ideal for the pitch. If there are three models, and then usko ek benchmark मान के, and then you whatever you converse and read and write, read and speak, you try to speak in that particular pitch, which everyone has found to be ideal. So this is a very no rocket science that I have told you, but maybe this will give you some kind of benchmark. कोई कहता how loud should I be? I can't say decibels. Okay, your decibel, let me measure. Nobody can guide you. So the only is to experiment yourself and see how it sounds. If you think that low pitch is not sounding as good as the slightly higher pitch to yourself, if it is amusing to your eyes, to your ears, adopt that. Because the person who speaks cannot gauge how it actually, you can see the video also and then get convinced. So Uma, we have given you 73% today.
201.
So you are certainly that material, and just keep it up. Be natural as you were today.
Yes.
Right? Knowledge has no end.
Yes.
And you have a lot of time. So as things keep coming, jot down the current affairs which are related to Hyderabad, which are related to your profession, which are related to your background, civil engineering. Just keep adding so that you are updated.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.